thought I'd caught it. I thought I'd caught it, gang. I thought I'd caught it there. Managed to get there before it like rolled over to play in the intro again, but I didn't. I got it wrong. I messed it up. It's fine though. We've got there in the end. Forgot to take my glasses off. Oh, the glare from the screen's terrible. Hello, good morning everyone. How are we doing? I've not got half the stuff prepared that I meant to have prepared for right now, which is terrible, but it's fine. I might have to put my glasses back on actually. I can't read anything. I'm so short-sighted. It's unreal. There we go. I think this should be the start of something that works every single time. Maybe. That's actually not true. This is not going to work every single time. But it would be lovely if it did, wouldn't it? It would be great. It would be amazing if it worked every single time. But given we were supposed to stream on Thursday, and it didn't work, I don't know. It's not the best start. It's not the best start to the old streaming properly. How are we doing anyway? How are we doing on this fine, too hot Monday morning? I know it won't be too hot for all of you, but it is for me. It's horrendous for me. I absolutely hate it. So, we had a plan. We had a plan for this, gang, which is not... It's not going to work, okay? We were all set up to start out doing the Monday Ramble live, right? Going to take a look at what's coming up for the next week. See what's available. See what we've got in terms of pre-orders. And there's a slight issue for that, isn't there? There's a slight issue for that because Games Workshop put up Leviathan yesterday, which actually that is something that we can have a little chat about. If you were going to get Leviathan, if you were looking to get Leviathan, did you get Leviathan? Is that what you got? Did you manage to get hold of it, or did you not manage to get hold of it? Because I feel like generally speaking, I think it went okay. It seemed like most people were able to get what they wanted, which is kind of a first in a way. Well, not a first, but it's not been wholly reliable, has it? For quite a while now, it's not been wholly reliable that you'll be able to get the box that you want. Whereas this time, I feel like actually, it didn't seem like there were horrendous, awful issues with stock. So, I mean, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. They still had stock, I think, yesterday? I wonder if they've still got stock now. You know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out if they have stock right now. Let's have a quick look. So, you watch them not having you now. I'll be amazed if they do, but they... I mean, searching for Leviathan. Okay, it is now sold out. It is now sold out. I thought it probably would be, but... Yeah, I was just like, just for a minute there. Imagine if it still wasn't sold out. That'd be impressive. But yeah, that's fair. I mean, what? It went up on Saturday, so not that surprised that it's already gone. So got one, yes. Wanted it, got it. Got on, took nearly 2 hours in a queue. I mean, the queue times did seem like insane on the surface of it, but if it worked, like, it's one of those things where I was like, oh man, people are sitting there for literally hours trying to get that. Oh wait, the people who sat there, generally speaking, did end up ordering one, so... Got one from friendly local gaming store, excellent, nice. Oh dear. Nice one, Victor, you've got... how much was it in New Zealand? Do I want to know how much it was in New Zealand? Or is that just going to absolutely... is that going to be real bad if I ask how much it was in New Zealand? Because I feel like it's going to be a chunk of change, isn't it? It's going to be a real chunk of change. Yeah, Jez, I did notice that quite a few people said that their like local store did not get as many as they wanted. Elements sold out like instantly. Instantly. It felt like the Element site was up, it disappeared, and then the site was down. And it was just immediate. It just vanished. Oh, 400. Oh, my heart hurts. It hurts. $470. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, it's so bad though. Jesus Christ. Oh, I've left my light on. Hang on a second. Hang on. I'm not going to be right back. There we go. Camera's a bit better now. It's not flooded. 420 Australian. Jesus Christ. It's so bad for you guys. You'd think you live it like on a different planet. It's just horrendous. It's just the worst. Oh, so you did. I did see quite a few places basically just doing pre-allocation for it, just having like a list to sign up, and then that's what those were like the priorities. To be honest, if you got a good relationship with your local store, I don't really see a problem with that. To be honest, I don't see a problem for that. It's trying to keep your return customers, isn't it? There was one store, I forget which store it was, but they said that they got like a shockingly small amount, like a really, really small amount. Oh, it's going to be hot today in the UK, in most places. So remember to hydrate, alright? You've got to hydrate, you've got to drink. You need to drink. Do not sit there and not drink. I used to be really bad for this. Then I got the Comedy Giant bottle, which every time I try and drink from, it looks like I'm a baby. It looks like I'm an actual giant baby trying to drink from a bottle. It's worth it though. 64 ounces of ice cold water all day. Ah, it's perfect. Yeah, like 225 quid, 230 quid is... oh, horrendous. Sorry, Jakero Jim, you did ask that before. Yes, the second channel, it kind of ended up taking a bit of a backseat at the moment. I've got footage recorded for stuff for it. I'm doing stuff with it, but I'm getting this channel sorted first. Like, if you haven't seen the video I put up, not this Monday, last Monday, I've been struggling with the channel for a while, and it made a lot more sense to kind of sort my house out here, and then move into doing stuff with the other channel. Alchemist Workshop's got about 3/4 of what they asked for and staggered their sales, so there was still some available last night. Okay. I mean, staggering it can sometimes be the best way to do it, I think. I mean, if also that kind of, again, if you're trying to make sure that people are actually loyal to the store, doing it that way is a good way to do it. Oh, you're passing on this edition. You know what? I would be surprised if they didn't do something similar to what they did with Indomitus, because we had Indomitus and then we had the separate boxes afterwards that just kind of went down in scale and price. I really hope they do the same thing here. Because that was a good system. Like, that was a great system. I thought that worked super well. The only thing though is, if they do that, the chances are the prices are going to go up. Now, I can't remember whether the prices went up with the last price increase on those starter boxes. I can't remember whether they did or not. So it's going to be interesting to see whether, if they do change them, whether it stays the same or not. Like, this box, more than any other box, this one feels like it's aimed squarely at existing hobbyists. Like, this box was not made for people who are, like, new to the hobby. This box was made primarily for people who, like, remember various bits of it from when they started playing. Like, this is not a starter box. It's a, it's one for the people who sat there and went, oh my god, it's Terminators, and it's the classic Boxnaut, but in Redemptor form. That's what this box was. I mean, there's a Screamer Killer in there, come on. And admittedly, it nearly worked on me. I I thought about it, J-Bond. I nearly went for it, but then I realised that that it was unlikely that I would actually get round to most of the Space Marine side. Really, all I want is the Dreadnought and the Terminators. That's really all I want out of the Space Marine side of the box. I had talked about being sent one from one of the stores that I use, but then that didn't work out. But that was absolutely fine. They didn't get anywhere near what they were hoping for in terms of the box. So when they were like, "I'm not sure we can manage this," I was like, "No, that's fine. Don't worry about it." I had initially thought to split that box between me and a friend. They were going to take the Tyranids and I was going to take the Space Marines. But then when it was like, okay, so they can't send me one, absolutely fine, not a problem. If I buy one, am I reasonably going to use most of the Space Marine side? Not really. I'm not too bothered about the Flamer Marines. I'm not too fussed about those. The Stone Guard are nice, but they're not as good as the current Stone Guard kit or the previous Stone Guard kit. The Lieutenant and Phobos armor is cool, but I've already made a kill team that is basically that, but more covered in Tyranid bits. So, like, the kind of uniqueness of that is missing for me. The Librarian is cool, but I just don't use Librarians. So it was like, looking at it, I was like, oh man, there's like 6, maybe 7 models, if we include the Terminator Captain, that I really want out of this. That's not worth the money at all. Like, it's just not worth it. And I could have maybe sold off the stuff that I didn't want, but that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort. So lazy. Terrible. The box debacle is one of the few times I've felt great to be an Eldar player lately. To be fair, Mushinen? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. I feel like they did a decent job this time round. Do you see any effects of 3D printing in the UK in the last year or so? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so necessarily. I mean, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? Like, when it comes to official GW tournaments and stuff, there's just no impact on those at all because you can't use them. When it comes to external tournaments, there are people using 3D printed armies, but there's also plenty of people who are still just going all in on GW stuff. I think it's probably having a little bit of an impact, but Games Workshop is not under imminent threat from 3D printing, I don't believe. They may well be in the future. Like, I'm not saying that won't change, but I think right now, like this instant, this moment in time, I don't think it's having that much of an impact on them, but the chances are that will probably change as the technology gets even more accessible. It's already massively accessible because it's surprisingly cheap to do, but it's when it gets cleaner and easier is when we're going to start to see a bigger impact, I think. So, Leaf, I'm honestly holding off on the new edition until I figure out Horus Heresy stuff or the Dark Aims release with new models. That's fair enough. That's a good way to approach it, honestly. The starter sets did not go up in price in March. Oh, interesting, Phil, thanks. I couldn't remember whether they did or not. I could not remember which way round. Whether they upped them with the rest. Actually, no, yeah, because they didn't up the... They haven't upped the entrance to the hobby, have they? But they've upped everything, upped everything else, which, I mean, you know, that's just how they do it. So there's someone... Wait, there's someone selling the Tyranid half for 75 quid? I mean, that's... Honestly, if you get the box, you've got no one to split it with. Just put the other half up for 75 quid. Just do that. Like, that's... I think that's a fair way to do it, honestly. That's a really fair way to do it. You're not making a massive profit, you're covering the half that you don't want. People who weren't able to get the box or didn't want the whole box get the bit that they want for a reasonable price. That's totally okay with me. Donald Cowie. No, I'm not on the GW content creator list. No, I'm not. I don't think... I think because I used to do leak and like rumour content, I think I'm blacklisted because of that. I'm pretty sure anyway, that because of previous actions, like that's not on the cards, which is, you know, whatever. It would be nice to actually work with them, but I don't suspect it's going to happen anytime soon. Although I have stopped doing leak and rumour content. Mostly, I've never actually really... It's kind of a mix of things for that. On the one hand, it is super interesting. On the other hand, a couple of things that I talked about when I used to talk about leaks and rumours turned out to be wrong. They were just flat out wrong. And I hated the fact that I'd given completely incorrect information. I don't like that at all. That just sat really, like... It just didn't sit well with me. It felt like I'd lied to people, which wasn't necessarily true. It was like I'd mistakenly said something, or at least I'd said something that turned out to be untrue, and I'd put loads of caveats. I was like, you know, every time we used to talk about leaks or rumours, we just fully said, this is not confirmed, it's a leak, it's a rumour, there's no confirmation of this, nothing's been officially said, take it with an ounce, a dump truck, an ocean's worth of salt. Do not get excited over this, but this is what we have heard. And even with all of those like caveats and all of that kind of like trying to put things in context, when the leak or rumour turned out to be incorrect, I just felt bad. I just felt bad about it. I was just like, well, that sucks. That sucks, because there's going to be people who, even though I said don't get yourself too worked up about this, there's going to be people who got themselves excited, and then it turned out it wasn't true. And I just didn't like that at all. So that's why we stopped covering that sort of thing for the most part. And the other thing is that I've come to be friends with a few people who work with Games Workshop, who get sent stuff early, who go to like creator events and stuff. They put like tons of effort into their content, absolutely loads of effort. Like, they'll do battle reports, they'll do reviews, they'll sit down and go through everything, and they can't talk about what it is that they're doing until the NDA is lifted and Games Workshop says, okay, you can now talk about this thing. Now, in the time that they do that, someone else will get a leaked version of whatever it is that they're doing. They then put the video out with, like, you know, the potato cam image or the potato cam picture or whatever, and that video cleans up, like absolutely cleans house for views. And then the people who are like playing by the rules and working with Games Workshop and actually being able to work on this stuff for longer and with a greater understanding of it, they then don't get an ounce of the feedback or community reaction or views or attention that they would have done otherwise. And having become friends with quite a few people who do work like with Games Workshop, who get sent these boxes and stuff, seeing them like absolutely pile loads of effort into making something that does a great job explaining what it is that they're doing, seeing that video then get nothing because everyone already knows. Everyone already knows. Like, I'm quite an empathetic person at times, and that just sucks. I just don't like that. I don't like that for people. I don't like that for anyone, and I especially don't like that for friends who I know are putting their heart and soul into it. So it's like a mix of those two things. I don't like accidentally misleading people or leading people on. I don't like giving incorrect information. And I don't like the idea of me saying something and then someone that, you know, I've got a good relationship with, who I really enjoy their company, who is a friend, suddenly all the work they've done is just meaningless. Like, I don't like that combination at all. So, yeah, that's why we just stopped doing leak stuff. I just don't enjoy it. I don't get anything out of it. I just feel like I'm spoiling someone's day, which is not what I want to do. That's not what I'm here for. Even though, you know, we've talked a lot about all the stuff that's disappearing on Forge World, which no doubt has spoiled people's days. That was very rambly. Are you surprised? Are you shocked? Of course you're not shocked. Of course you're not. Hello, Mirror Cunning Minis. Ooh, greetings from Malaysia. Nice. If I had Guard instead of Space Marines, I'd have ordered 2. That's fair. Hello. Hello, Idic Beer. How you doing? Of course, the first thing is Necrons. It's got to be Necrons every single time. To be fair, I've still not painted my Necrons, and I should really do it. I should really do it. I've got so many, so many Necrons to paint. See, Killer Creeks, man, I've emailed GW. Don't worry, I've tried. I've emailed them. but I just never got a response. Which, I mean, it could be that they just didn't see it. I'm sure they get inundated on a daily basis. Like, just 1,000 emails a day. So there's a good chance that that's what happened. But, yeah, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, Zar, that's the thing. I'm just not a big fan of... Not a big fan of leaks. Just not a big fan of it now. I used to really enjoy it, but it just felt like it got very... Also, the filter system you have to set up if you're not Valrak. Like, I don't know how Valrak's done it, but Valrak's got like a spy network or something going on where it feels like 90% of the stuff he says is absolutely correct, whereas every time I tried to do anything regarding leaks or rumours, I put so much effort into trying to verify whether it was true or not, and eventually it just got to the point as well where it's like, oh, I'm 99% sure. I still don't want to tell anyone because there's still a chance it'll be wrong, and that'll just mess up someone's day. I'm just not into it. Just not into it, to be honest. I am absolutely excited about the new plastic Cerastus Knights miniatures painting. I am 100% in for those, especially because, and it's not just the fact it's plastic Cerastus Knights, right? I'm super like, I'm super looking forward to that specific one, but also the chassis. They've got the chassis now, right? They've got the chassis, so it's not just going to be the Cerastus. Because really, the only difference between like the Cerastus, so there's the Lancer, there's the, is it the Acheron? I can't remember what half of them are called. I'm gonna have to have a look. We're gonna have to have a quick glance here because I can't remember what the different types of like that chassis of knights are. Yes, I'll have a look at the Imatech thing in a sec. Right, let's have a quick look. In fact, there we go. Let's have a quick look, because I really can't remember the different ones. Yeah, so there's the Knight Lancer, there's the Acheron, it is Acheron, Castigator. That's the thing that I'm excited about, right? It's the fact that we do have the chassis now. So they only showed off the Lancer. But if they've already got the chassis, they've already got the body, all they need to do to make the Castigator and Acheron is just different arms and different head. That's it. That's all they need to do. The Castigator, admittedly, has got slightly different shoulder pads. In fact, have they all got slightly different shoulder pads? I can't remember. So, that one's got like a couple of segments on the shoulder pads. The Castigator is almost the same. Not quite. So it's got like forward-leaning sections instead. I mean, reasonably, there's no reason why they couldn't just change the shoulder design on the Castigator. And it looks like the... Oh, interesting. You know, I've never really properly looked at the shoulders. So the shoulders are the same underneath every single time. So you got the same lower section on the shoulders for each knight, and then it's just the upper sections that are different. At least that's the sensible way to do it. Of course, that's not how they've done it. What? Oh God! Oh, Forge World, you lunatics! Why make it easy on yourself when you could make it more complex? Like, it looks the same. It looks pretty much the same on each one, just slightly different decoration, and then there's an extra bit on top. So of course it's a completely separate moulded part. Obviously. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Oh, Forge World. You lovable scamps, you absolute lunatics. But if they're being sensible, that's how they'll do it. They might not be sensible. If they do all three in separate boxes, that'll be lame. That will be garbo, right? If they do all of them in separate boxes... Oh, now I've said it. What if that happens now? What if that happens? Now that I've said that might happen, what if that is... Oh, what if that's the case? It better not be. It better not be that. Oh, interesting. Okay, right, well. More plastic knights it is then. Excellent. That's what I want to see. That's what I like to see. As long as they're all in the same box and it's not some dumb, silly way of doing it. It is 100% separate boxes. Oh, come on. Come on. How? Why would it... Why? Why do it? I mean, I know why. We know why, alright? We know why. We know why. It's because if they do one box, you can magnetize it and you can swap out what you have on the fly. You could just magnetize the head, magnetize the weapons, and then you'd be fine. And you don't need to buy one box unless you are running 3 or 2 knights or whatever. And they don't want you to do that. They want you to buy all of them and have one of each, which is incredibly frustrating. Least dignified drinking ever. The Atropos is the one that I want. That's the one I want, to be honest. I mean, the others are great. The others are fine. I do like the fact that they're having the other ones. But, if we're being honest, right? If we're being honest, this is one of the coolest models they've ever made. This is one of the coolest models they've ever made. And it's unfortunately now £225, which is absolutely horrific. But, yeah. I would love that to be in plastic. If that did come out in plastic, I would be so happy. So happy. Oh yeah, so Merry-Cunning Minis, yes. Range reviews are coming back. They are returning. Don't worry about that. It is a pretty big bottle. July or nothing else. It's 64 ounces. And I need to drink more water. And I've done a really good job of drinking more water since I got the stupid bottle. Now, someone mentioned the Space Marine 2 co-op announcement. I am well happy about that. I am really, really happy about that because, let's face it, Space Marine was, like, the best one. It just was. I'm sorry, it was the best one. Dawn of War, Dawn of War was good. I prefer Dawn of War 2. I'm the one person that preferred Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 3, it's a shame. Honestly, it's a shame that we never had like a trilogy for the Dawn of War series. It's a real pity we never had a trilogy for that. Could you imagine how good a Dawn of War 3 would have been? Like if they actually sat down and made a Dawn of War 3, it has the potential to be amazing, but for whatever reason, they just stopped. They just stopped at 2, and it baffles me as to why that's the case. It was a weird choice by them, but you know what? I kind of respect it because Dawn of War 2 was excellent. Could you even imagine the stink that would be caused if they had made a Dawn of War 3 and it turned out to be absolutely crap? Could you believe that? Could you imagine what would have happened if that had been the case? I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? It doesn't bear thinking about. Imagine making a third one and then it being terrible. Luckily they didn't. Luckily they stopped at 2, which is just as well. Hello Discourse, how you doing? Dawn of War 2 is the best one. It just was, I'm sorry. Oh, it's kind of... Yeah, but Fluffy, it's kind of funny to go after Dawn of War 3. Look, there was probably a good game buried in there somewhere, but if there was, I did not have the patience to dig enough to find it. I just didn't have the patience to dig that far down. Or not, I wish I did, but I just didn't. I just never found it in there. The trailer was so good. The trailer was amazing. I loved the trailer for the game that didn't happen. But it would have been so nice. No, I don't know what you're talking about. No, Vi, I don't know what you're talking about. There was never a Dawn of War 3. They stopped at 2. They just never made a third. They just released a trailer for it. They never actually brought the game out. It was really odd. Really odd. A lot of people think they've played it, but I think it's just like a mass hallucination, and it never actually happened. Yes, there will definitely be a Sisters range review, Canoness Eleanor, of course, because Sisters are quality. I discovered... This is bad, right? This is so bad. Do you want to know what I found the other day whilst I was tidying up? This is awful, and I need to do something with this, because I'm genuinely embarrassed by this, okay? So, hang on a second. I need to move a couple of things. So, I need to move this Phoenix, which I need to finish painting. Nice Phoenix there. That's not Games Workshop. They don't. Well, they do make a Phoenix, I think. That is, in fact, from Archon Studio, who are my best friends when it comes to models. You want to talk about companies giving you free stuff? Games Workshop has never sent me anything. Never sent me nothing. Games Workshop, not a drop. Archon Studio is single-handedly responsible for me having to buy an entire shelving unit purely for the stuff they've sent me. Now, admittedly, I have bought some of it myself. I have bought stuff from Archon Studio. I've bought, like, scenery, and I've done a couple of their Kickstarters. But Archon Studio are incredibly generous in that what they'll do is they'll say, we've got a new Kickstarter coming. Would you like to take a look at the new sprues? And I'll say, yes, please. And then they'll send me the new sprues in a 5-kilo box. And then the sprues will be on top. Like, they'll send the box, I'll open the box up, the new sprues will be the top layer, and everything else is dragons, and monsters, and scenery, and props, and God knows what else. And it happens each time, and each time I'm like, oh, I hope the box is just a little bit smaller, I've only just caught up on the last box, and then I open it, and loads of stuff. Again, it's a catastrophe over there. I don't want to talk about it anymore. They haven't sent you anything either, Discourse. That's absolutely shocking. Shocking that would be the case. They just don't have good taste, that's the problem. That's not fair. I actually like quite a few of the people they do send stuff to, but it's funnier if I pretend to be offended by it than if I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I did make jokes about it in videos for a little bit, but then people started taking it seriously. They were like, oh wow, you know you shouldn't actually get salty about them not sending you free stuff, like you're not entitled to it. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm genuinely, it's whatever. Like, I'm joking about it. I'm just joking about it. Please stop taking me seriously. So that's why I stopped joking about it. So, the thing what I found whilst I was tidying up the other day, and I feel genuinely bad about this. I feel genuinely bad about this. Hello, Steve. How you doing? I found I found that. Yeah. That's bad. That's a bad one, right? There's some boxes that it's like, okay, you got them and then you never got round to them, whatever. There's some boxes that are like that. That's not the box to do that to. Alright? That is not the one to do that to. That one was bad. Like, the lack of supply on this one, where everyone went absolutely crazy over how few of these there was and how fast they sold out. I was like, it was literally, I had put it down there, like, I forget why, I think I just moved it out of the way of something else, and I put it down there, literally like a year ago or something, and just totally forgot about it. Just did not think about it at all. I think I put something else in front of it. And then I was sorting my office out a couple of weeks ago, and as I was tidying, I moved my guitars, and I did a load of dusting and tidying in my guitars, and I sorted a couple of them out and placed a few strings, and I moved the thing that was in front of it and went, oh no, oh god, oh I can't believe I didn't, oh, I feel bad now. People really wanted this, and I didn't mean to take it and then do nothing with it. That's not what I went for. That was not the approach I was going for. It wasn't like, haha, I'm going to buy this so you can't. Like, at some point, I opened it and I started building. There's like one sister that I've almost built. One! Like, that's atrocious, right? That is absolutely atrocious. That is bad. Like I say, there's some boxes you don't do anything with and it doesn't matter that much because it's just whatever. But this one I felt genuinely bad for because there just wasn't enough of them to go around and they were super sought after. Especially admittedly, I don't know even how long did this codex last before the next one came out? What, like 6 months? Not even that. But look at it. It's like the nicest codex I own. It's like the nicest codex I own. It's just been in the box the whole time. Never even used it. Absolutely terrible. Genuinely bad, that one. Oh yeah, the fancy dice. Where are the fancy dice? I don't know if... Wait, did I not get the... Oh, there they are. The miracle dice. The miracle dice. Yes. Look at them. Oh, yeah. Right. You want to talk about why Games Workshop won't send me stuff? This might be a contributing factor, right? This here. Absolutely incredible cover. That's a great cover. It's amazing art. The colours are fantastic. It feels there is something kind of almost sad about this. It evokes a feeling not of like combat, but of like some sort of longing, of there's some sort of like deep-seated despair, of someone on the verge of exhaustion kind of just taking a moment, taking a breath. It's beautifully drawn, fantastically illustrated. The scaling is absolutely spot on. The actual texture of it on the codex is really nice. The printing of it is super good. It looks brilliant, right? It looks so good. This is one of the best codexes they've ever made. Also, the back of it's really cool as well. The front of it's better, but the back of it's absolutely class. In that same box, you get miracle dice, which are just plain white dice with black dots. Now, I'm sorry, but when they were putting this box together, right, who sat there and went, right, well, we've got this, what do we do for the dice? Oh, well, clearly what we need is the cheapest, plainest white dice with black spots. That's what we need.
I would love to see you at my 40k Dominion War tourney this year. It's fun and a chance for a few channels to get together. I hope you can make it.
You know what, Nick? I need to look at the calendar. I have a really bad feeling. I think that might be when I'm on holiday, but I don't know. I need to check and find out. But I'm going to. That is on the jobs list for today, to dig out the shared family calendar and find out like what I'm doing that week. But I will let you know. And thank you very much for the super chat. That's really kind of you. Oh, wait, Scott. I have an entire company of Firstborn and Primaris in my cupboard, still new in box. Okay, that's pretty... An entire company? An entire company? Alright, I feel a little less bad about that box now. I feel a little bit, just a little bit less bad. Just a bit. That's... Mate, what? An entire company? Oh my god. I would not even know where to start with, like, even thinking about how to paint that. Like, just the paralysis would just destroy me. I'd be like, it's too many models to paint. I'm already getting that with the amount of scenery that I've got over there. I'm already, like, borderline at that place. Oh, I'm not throwing the book. I wouldn't throw the book. I've thrown stuff on the channel before, but I'm not throwing the book. Oh, I tell you what, gang. My plan of painting after this is somewhat optimistic, right? It is already 32 degrees in this room. It's already 32 degrees. Paint is going to dry instantly. It's going to be gone off the... It's just going to evaporate. Maybe we build. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If I'm absolutely dying, then I need to get an AC unit for in here. But I can't... Well, I need to get an AC unit in here, but I've already got a tattoo booked in, and I need to get my car tax sorted, and that's a lot of expenses for 1 month that is already uncomfortable. So, probably not going to get an AC unit, just going to melt instead. Because originally I did think, oh, we'll paint this lad. That's my Lehman Russ Punisher, as you can tell. It's a Lehman Russ with a Punisher cannon and with 3 heavy bolters. That's what I was planning to do. Go fund me aircon. I mean, super chats are open. Just saying. Oh yeah, the King's Guard passing out while I parade. I did see that unsanctioned loyalist. That was not great. That was not awesome. The thing is, Jono, man, you can't even sell that box anymore, really, because all of the only thing that's in there of any value is the codex, and that's only as a collector's item. If you want to actually buy the models, you just buy the start collecting because it's the same box. It's just exactly the same box. Oh, no. Oi, Josh. Mr. Solomon, we're not having that. Nope. Look here. Look. Look, you've set me off now. It's only early summer, but it's already time for the rant. It might be hotter where you are. It might well be hotter where you are. In fact, I'm sure it probably is hotter in Australia. But the thing is, me knowing that it's hotter somewhere else doesn't make me any less hot. The knowledge of increased temperatures elsewhere doesn't actually help in reducing the heat that I feel. And given that I don't live in Australia, and I have not been brought up with that climate, and that I'm in this fucking incredible heat-retaining house, that just doesn't help anyone, does it? That it doesn't make any difference to anyone. It's my least favourite thing about when heat comes up, or cold for that matter, because I love being cold, right? I love being cold. When it gets cold in this country, you never see me complain about the cold, because I absolutely love being cold. It's the best. And occasionally I will see someone in the US be like, oh man, it's only 10 degrees C or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, and? But I don't say it out loud, because that doesn't help them to make any difference. They're still cold. Me being more cold is, that's just irrelevant, isn't it? I think you said on Twitter earlier, it's like when someone says that they're cold, you don't say it's minus 270 degrees centigrade in space, because that's irrelevant and pointless, which is true. That's the thing. That's the thing, Robo. The UK has we just don't have any infrastructure for heat at all. It's the fact that our hospitals, the hospital closest to me, there's no aircon in that hospital. There's no aircon. And when it gets to 30, 35, that horrible week we had last year where it was super, super hot, we just don't have anything. We got nothing. It's just, okay, it's super hot outside. Don't worry though, your house is going to absorb all the heat so that when it cools down overnight, you're going to be just as hot as you were during the day. And then it's going to get hot again with no time to recover. Because no one has aircon. No one has any sort of, it's all built to retain it. It's just the worst. It's absolutely terrible. It's also moist as well. A dry heat, I love a dry heat. A dry heat, I'm all good with. When I went to Malta on our honeymoon, I was fine in Malta. I was absolutely fine. I was just walking around, no problem, all day, every day. Keep hydrated, not a problem. Just keep going. It was absolutely fine. Because it was dry. It was lovely and dry. But you don't get dry heat in the UK. It's not a dry heat at all. It's wet. It's just damp, soggy, sweaty, clammy, humid air all day and all night. The kind of heat where you step outside and you're immediately covered in a thin layer of moisture. You just straight away, like, it's not even sweat. You don't start sweating immediately. The air just gives you a light coat, which then just means that all the heat stays in you. It's the worst. It's like getting out of a too hot shower, but the second you step outside. If I could live somewhere that was permanently like -1 degree, I'd be there. I'd be there all the time. I'd abandon my family. I'd move. That's not true. I'd make them come with me. They wouldn't like it, but yeah, it's the humidity more than anything else. And the thing is, because of like, I'm pretty sure AC conditions the air, so you don't get the humidity indoors. It filters it out. It gets rid of it, so you end up with nice dry air. And because we don't have AC, it's just atrocious. Although I suppose, could you just get a dehumidifier for the house? It would still be hot. Like, it would still be hot, but it wouldn't be as horrible. It also, I have to admit, it also does my head in when I see people recommend swamp coolers in the UK. Do not use swamp coolers in the UK. So swamp cooler, from what I can tell, you get like a rack, you put some towels or whatever in cold water, you put them over the rack, then you put a fan behind them to blast cold air out, right? Good in theory. All that's doing is just blasting cold moisture into the air. The air is already moist. It's already moist, right? It's already humid. You're just adding more condensation and more water to the air, which means that you just end up feeling even worse, because you might be cool for a bit, but you're even more sticky and wet than you were, and it's just going to get worse for you. Do not do that in the UK. We do not have the climate for that. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for rejoining. Mazzy? Oh dear, I probably mangled your name. I'm so sorry. I'm bad enough with names anyway. The heat is that bad in the Scottish Highlands. Wildfires are happening in the chill department at my work. Hasn't been working. Oh God, that's bad. Yeah, that's not great, Aaron. That's not great. Oh, I tell you what, Nick. The other day, I sat down to paint, and I put some on my texture palette. Right, I was dry brushing something, so I got my texture palette out. I put a bit of paint on it. I went to get a drink, came back, and the paint was just dry. And I was like, well, okay, fine. I guess I'm not doing dry brushing today. Moist talk. Yeah, we're doing moist talk today. It's all about being moist. You know what? How much is an aircon unit right now? Because I bet it's atrocious. Yeah, the worst time to buy aircon is right now. Oh my God. Okay, so there's one that I thought about buying a while ago and then just never got around to it, and now I wish I had. That it has literally, you're right, it's gone up by like 150 quid. Oh, Jesus. Ugh. That's bad. That's real bad. Even like the really small capacity ones are like over 250 quid now. Ugh. Terrible. Yep, heaters in the summer, aircon in the winter. It's the only way to do it economically. Although running an air conditioning unit isn't economical at the moment, because energy in the UK costs infinite money. We know how to enjoy ourselves over here. Oh, God. See, it's just a case of... I think if I were to get one, it would have to just be a portable one. Because I don't know how else I would do it. A portable one with a vent that goes to the window, I think is the only way that I can think to do it. Oh, thank you very much for renewing your membership, Tim Chaser. That's reminded me, actually, hopefully, members and Patreons for the channel, you'll get something new tomorrow. Early access, obviously, because Wednesday's videos are uploaded on Tuesday for members and patrons. And there's going to be something new going up, which I'm super, super excited about. I'm really, really happy with it. Well, I say super, like, really happy with it. I'm assuming I'll be really happy with it, because it's a really fun idea, and I'm looking forward to recording it and editing it, and I think you'll like it a lot. Drill a bunch of holes in your walls. I don't know that that's the solution. I don't know that that's going to help. The outside temperature right now is something horrendous. Like, it's something really horrendous. But then again, it's not as bad as inside my office, so... I don't know, maybe I do open the window? Oh, we get thunderstorms. Oh, yes. Oh, gang, we get thunderstorms later. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love a thunderstorm after it's been hot and awful all day. Absolute best. So good. I wonder how much energy GW is guzzling down. Apparently they got an angry letter from the electricity board about the consumption. Oh my god. Oh. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Building an outdoor studio might be cheaper at this point. I mean, I did look at that. When my second daughter was born, I needed to have my office not in the room that was going to be her bedroom. So I had this built in the back of the garage. And I was like, okay, what if we do one in the garden though? What if I have like a garden office, like take up the back like third of the garden all the way across? Had a look at how much that would be, and immediately decided, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. That's not happening. For an office building that big to be built in the back garden was, I think it was 3 times the cost of building this room. It was insane how expensive that was. I mean, it would have been good for the extra space, but yeah, no. Too much. Far too much. Yeah, there's the other thing, Maze. It's like portable AC. It would be good for this office. It would be good for me working during the day. But it wouldn't work in like the living room of our house, because the living room is open and it has the stairs to upstairs going straight up to the landing. Like, it's just too big a room for the AC to do anything to it. It would have to be on for hours, which would also cost an infinite amount of money now. What's your thoughts on GW doing the midnight, all-night opening for Leviathan for people to be up all night building their kits? You know what? I like the kind of community feel of that. It's not... Realistically, it's not something that I could do personally. Like, I mean literally, I've got 2 kids that go to school. Like, I'm not staying up all night. That would just wreck me in the morning. But I do like that idea. I think it's actually quite a fun way to celebrate the launch of the new edition. I think it's a nice community way of building the box. I think the fact that they're doing it in like an official capacity where they're providing the space and stuff, I don't know, I actually really like that. I really like that. I think it's not a bad idea, genuinely. Oh no, I need to blow my nose. It's going to make a horrific noise. So, you know what? You're going to get treated to the Be Right Back screen, because you don't want to hear this. No one does. It's bad. It's real bad. There you go. I saved you. I saved you from the horror. It could have been real bad, but it wasn't. So we're good. I'm sure I saw an official, like... Maybe it wasn't an official announcement on Games Workshop opening the kits. Like the 24-hour kind of party, so to speak. I like it, though. I like it. That's a good idea. It's actually quite a good idea. And it's to test GW hotel ideas they've been bouncing around since the early... the more I think about that, the more I can't decide if that seems like a good idea or not. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't know how profitable it would be, but I don't know that it's... That's a weird one. I'm not sure. How close is my Armoured Company to completion now? Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4... I'm basically 3 tanks off having it playable, pretty much. I haven't painted everything, obviously. I'm getting round to that. But once I painted this tank, I've got 3 more to build, and that'll be the whole thing built. It doesn't actually take long to paint them, to be honest. It doesn't take very long. I've kind of got a system down now. It's a little bit... The Armoured Company, though, it has an addition to it. Like it's not all tanks, right? It's not all tanks. Because it's also this. This is my Rescue Valkyrie, which I haven't finished painting yet. I've started painting it, as you can tell, because it's in the right colour scheme. It's not exactly the same layout of colours, but, like, that's the colour scheme for the tanks. And it's kind of... I wanted it to be similar, but not the same. In fact, actually, using that tank is a bad example. Because I copied this tank for it. So, yeah. It's same colours, but it's like, different layout. But yeah, that's part of the Armoured Company now. Because I got this as a rescue, and I've been rehabilitating it. So I've got a Valkyrie for air support. What did I say? Valkyrie? No, it is a Vulture, isn't it? I don't even know how I got that wrong, to be honest. The whole thing is I've never bought a Valkyrie, because I've always preferred the Vulture. For some reason, I keep getting the name wrong at the moment. I don't know why. But yeah, she's a bit battered. She's had a hard life. A very hard life. I'm like the 4th owner, I think. And by the time I got it, it still hadn't been painted. It had just been base coated, and that's it. And so I was like, I had to fix the canopy. Like, the canopy was all mangled and broken. Like, there were sections that were broken and missing. The landing skids were broken at the front and the back. And I keep having to, like, file them down. It's missing... there's, like, an extra 2 wings that go, like, there and there. It's missing those 2 wings. Very much an abused and mistreated model, this one. But I love him. I love a Vulture. So... when the opportunity came to buy this for, I can't remember how much it was. I think it might have been 20 quid. I think it was 20 quid. It was 20 quid or 25 quid. I was like, okay, well, I can't not buy it for that much. Yeah, it's a bit battered, but, I mean, how much is a Vulture new? It's not 25 quid, I can tell you that for, for nothing. Let's have a quick look. Vulture, 82 quid. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I couldn't turn it down. I could not turn it down. because it's a great model and a little bit of TLC will sort it out. It's already looking way better than it was. I've fixed a load of stuff on it, so... In fact, actually, you can see on here the extra 2 wings that are supposed to go on the underside of it. So it's supposed to have an additional kind of pair of wings sticking out the back, which mine does not have. Mine does not have. But you know what? I don't actually mind that it's missing that bit. It doesn't bother me too much. I don't think personally, like, I don't think it looks like it's missing anything. It's not actually complete because it's missing those sections, but it doesn't look wrong. In my opinion, it doesn't look wrong without it. It looks fine. It didn't come with the original flying stand, but I'm not too bothered about that. It came with something, I don't know what this flying stand is from, to be honest. But given that I don't like flying stands and I was hiding it anyway, with a big old chunky base that's super heavily weighted down, loads of like bolts and screws in the bottom of it so that it doesn't rattle about. And once that's painted, I'm going to be using some like cotton wool to make like a smoke plume that comes around the stand, and then either side of the vulture. But yeah, I'm well happy with it. I'm well happy with it. For 25 quid, you can't go wrong for that. And if you're prepared to put the effort in, if you're prepared to sit there and file away and green stuff and plasticard things here and there, then yeah, it was totally worth it. Totally worth it. Oh, the OG one didn't have the landing feet. Interesting, I didn't know that. The landing feet on that one are knackered. They're like snapped off at the ends and the back on one of them and partially snapped on the other, so I had to clip all of it off, and it was a whole thing. But I'm happy. I'm happy. Gravis armor, Stanky. Gravis armor's quality. I love Gravis. Gravis is the best. Next to Turbinator. Basically, look, here's the deal. If it provides more girth, if it gives more girth, if it just, you know, makes a lad chunkier, beefier, then I'm in. I'm 100% in. Gravis and Terminator armor make Space Marines bigger, therefore they're cool. Vehicles can be a bit intimidating, Jestology, but it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. I was pretty intimidated with painting vehicles to start with, but then again I was intimidated painting anything. But you'll kind of very quickly find yourself with a bit of like a rhythm behind it. Once you work out the method that's best for you, it takes a bit of experimentation. It's not something that you'll probably get instantly. But once you find a way that works for you, you'll be alright. And if you can start with a smaller vehicle, like if you've got like a standard size dreadnought, for instance, just a box naught or a venerable dreadnought, or kind of equivalent size, I only use that as an example because that's what I've painted the most of, dreadnoughts, then you'll find you're able to scale it up pretty well. Admittedly, like, my advice is bad sometimes because I do things in a stupid way. So, the start of my armoured company, what would have been sensible would have been to paint a smaller tank, right? Paint a normal tank first. Like if I was smart, I would have painted this first. So that's my Lehman Russ with the autocannon on the front. I think that's what that is. I can't remember what loadout I gave this now. I'm pretty sure it's the one with the autocannon on the front. I should have started with this, right? That would have been the most sensible thing to do. But I didn't start with that. What I did, because I'm silly, is I started with the Baneblade. the kit-bashed, slightly converted Baneblade is what I started with, because I have no sense of self-preservation whatsoever. And I decided that I wanted to make a specific vehicle, which I've just noticed I never repaired. Tell you what, we're going to do a quick field repair, because I've only just realised that this is still not repaired after I dumped it on the floor, which I was extremely upset about. So just going to get a little bit of super glue there, like that. Get that on there, like that. There we go, fixed it. Yeah, I did this first, which was a bad idea. It was not smart. Like I should have been more sensible. Oh, Stanky, there's like which of the 4 tanks are we specifically referring to with the warehouse full of candles on it? Because this has got a warehouse load of candles on it. The tank commander also has a ton of candles on it, including a nice like candelabra thing at the top there. There's also the tank hunter, which has a few candles on it. But this is one of my favourite conversions that I've done. It's so like, I don't know. It looks like I'm modelling for height advantage, but I'm not. It just looks cool. Really, the only reason this armoured company exists, right, is because I had a Baneblade that I had tried to do something with. And I tried to do something with it for my Emperor's Children, and I was trying to make like a rolling cathedral that had a load of speakers on it, with like a sound stage on it, and that's what I was aiming for. But I didn't like how it worked. I didn't like the way I'd done it. I thought it was a bit naff, so I ended up scrapping that idea, and then I just had this Baneblade lying around, and so I was like, well, I don't know what to do with this. I'll leave it for a bit. Then there's an artist called Mike Francina who's done like a series of artwork, which is for something called Trench Crusade that he came up with, and the tank that he painted is called the Hammer of Witches. My Baneblade is called the Witch Hammer. The reason it's called the Witch Hammer is because it's directly based off this, right? This bit of artwork is responsible entirely for my army company existing. If Mike Francina hadn't painted this, there is a good chance I would never have got round to actually doing an army company properly, because I didn't know what to base it on, and I didn't have any ideas for like theme or colours. And then I saw this art, and I was like, okay, well, it's got to be that. It's got to be that. I have to do that. That's amazing. I love it. I need to do something like that. And so that's what led to the Baneblade being salvaged and then kit bashed the way that it has been, because I wanted it to look similar to this. Like that's the only reason. I wanted it to be similar to this. Of course, it needed to be bigger because the Baneblade's massive, so it ended up being considerably larger. But you can, like, if I switch between the two, so we've got that there, which is the Hammer of Witches, and then my, not rip-off for it, but like it inspired the Baneblade, which I called the Witch Hammer as a nod to Mike Francina. Like, you can clearly see where the inspiration came from, can't you? You can clearly see it. I took the braking wheels idea because I loved the idea of having, like, torture devices on the back of the tank. I also put bodies on a couple of them because I thought that I had to copy that as well because that was just a great idea. Adding things like the gargoyles along the side. I couldn't quite do a full relief like he did on his because I don't have the sculpting ability for that, but I did like the idea of having like a holy shell on the side of it, so that's why there's a shell in like a kind of protective case on the front of the tank. Yeah, like you can clearly see where I got the idea from. Like if I switch from that to that, you can see where it came from. You can clearly see where it came from. But I'm super glad I came across that art, right? Because every now and again, I'll just see something and go, well, I need to see that right now. I need to make that. That's really fun. The only thing I didn't do anything similar for the colour scheme because I didn't feel like it would work. I wasn't sure that I could pull that colour scheme off. I thought it'd be too dark. Like too... just too brown. I didn't think I'd be able to make it stand out on the tabletop, which is why I went for something totally different. Like the kind of blue and white, kind of the dirty blue and white with the kind of weathering on it. That was like, I wanted something brighter. I also felt like it kind of stood out a bit more on the tabletop that way. I mean, really, this is as much of a kind of homage, if you will, as the Baneblade. But yeah, I like. I'm so happy I just randomly saw that artwork because now I have an armour company, and it's entirely because of that. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen the messages. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. There's a new Deathleaper, which I'm super happy about because I was really worried, right, that they would get rid of the Deathleaper now that we had Von Ryan's Leapers. I didn't want them to just get rid, and they haven't. So let's take a look, shall we? Should we take a look? Should we take a look, gang? Okay. I mean that. Oh my god! All right, hang on a sec. Let's just. The official Warhammer Instagram account hit a very special milestone today. 500,000 followers, and not a moment too soon. Okay, you know what? Let's do just a little bit of. Let's do a little bit of resetting here. Let's get that full screen, and let's make sure we can get this fully in. We want to see all of it after all. Okay. I'm gonna say my instant gut feeling here gang is that is a 10 out of 10. That is insane. What the right, firstly, okay, where do we even start with this? This is what? Alright. First things first. It's got a cloak. It's got an actual cloak. There's an actual cape going on here. We have a full-on cape situation. I mean, that is blowing my mind. We have a Tyranid with a cape. That's absolutely... Whose idea was that? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not a criticism, right? I'm not criticising the fact that this has got a cape. I'm not criticising it for that. That is incredible, and the fact that they've incorporated a cape into an animal that doesn't wear clothes is insane. What the hell? Right, loving that. Great start. I mean, you know me. I love it. You know me. You know me. I love a cloak. I absolutely love a good cloak. I cannot get enough of a good cloak, right? Putting a cloak on a Tyranid, that is some galaxy brain 5-head thinking. That is fantastic. I love it. Okay. Initial cloak thoughts there. Sorry, I just got distracted when I realised that that's what it was. I just couldn't believe I was seeing a cloak. Bugs with capes. Yeah, that is genuinely scary, bugs with capes. The talons look fantastic, again. The spikes on the underside look suitably, like, I don't know, like the placement of them is weirdly uncomfortable. There's like a gap in the talons on the underside that it looks like it can flex a little bit more. There's just the overall, like, hooked over feel of those claws on the Deathleaper and now von Reinsleepers. They're just so weird. They feel almost like a tail more than an arm, but they are protruding from the shoulders, which just makes them look all wrong. The fact that this thing has got like actual arms underneath with recognisable hands as well somehow just makes it more creepy. I quite like that. Also, the tail must be massively long. Massively long. Like it looks like it's coming up and then to the side. It's not quite got a full-on stinger. It's still like a kind of chitin end, but that's quality. The face is amazing. We've got some proper tentacle action going on, but the tentacles also have spiky ends to them, because of course they have. I've just thought, actually, no, hang on. Wait, I'm getting confused. The anatomy is confusing me here. So, holy, there's so many weapons on this. There's so many weapons, gang. What is happening? There's so many weapons. So, right, we've got the two like overhead claws that are coming out the, not shoulders, but almost like there's like a secondary set of shoulders towards the back behind the head. Right, so we've got the overhead claws. We've clearly got some sort of tail going on that is arced up and back and round, that's coming like out of the model towards you. We've then got a pair of full-on arms with a horrific, like, Jurassic Park raptor style big talon in the centre of the arms. There's a couple of really long tentacle tendrils on either side of the mouth. The mouth itself is full of, like, tentacle spiky tendrils. Then, on top of all of that, right? Good lord. Coming out of the flesh cloak, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here we are. There's like another tail that is coming down and round. So basically just don't be anywhere near it. Unless there's at least 10 of you, you don't want to be anywhere near this thing, because any less than that and it has one weapon for each person, that is ridiculous. I love it, but that's insane how many weapons it's got. What on earth? Okay. Yeah, I think the tail is part of the cloak. But then the cloak also has spikes at the end of the different strands that form the bits that make up the cloak. Right. We're going to scroll down a minute and see if there's any shots from other angles. But initially, to be honest, I just absolutely love this. This looks fantastic. It's very over the top. It's very silly. The cloak makes it silly. I think without the cloak it would still look good. I think it might look less busy without the cloak, but there's just something about that cloak that's really... It just speaks to me in a weird way, and I don't know why. Okay, let's see if we've got a back view. Okay. Behold Deathleaper, what poise, what grace, what tentacles. This majestic specimen is the advanced Lictor bioform you know and love, upgraded for a new edition. Okay, so it's an epic hero. Cool. Dedicated the art of stabbing anything wandering into the shadows. Sure, why not? I like the fact they've even pointed out, like, a dashing biological tailcoat. Like, why? Why would you? I mean, I like it, but also, why would you? So. Alright, the cloak looks... Oh, now I'm not sure. I don't know. Side profile is fantastic. The side profile is brilliant. I love the way they've got all the tentacles kind of reaching out in different ways. One that's a bit higher up. That's great. Love the side profile. That's amazing. The kind of up close like front shot is also really good. It's really creepy. Really creepy. The overall structure of like the upper torso, where it looks like it has got just a full-on growth to support those kind of overhead talons. That's interesting and grim at the same time. For some reason it looks uncomfortable. I don't know whether it's supposed to look uncomfortable, but it looks uncomfortable. I'm not a fan of that tail sticking out the back of it. I'm not a fan of the tail sticking out there. That tail feels like it should have been further down and arching up and round, not coming out of something at the back of the dude's head and then going round. I don't like that placement at all, to be honest. And actually, I think this would look more natural, I guess, if there was another kind of plate of chitin between the growth that the like pincers and the tail are coming out of and the rest of the back. I actually feel like that should have been integrated a little bit better, because that gives me heavy reminders of when I used to kit batch stuff and not know how to like seamlessly join the two pieces. That's throwing me off just a little bit. Just a little bit. The position of that upper tail is really... It's not even like... This is the thing. It is kind of body horror-y, Rybo, but it's not... It's not making me uncomfortable in the way that body horror should. It just doesn't... It just looks a bit... It just looks off. Like, it's not... I'm not getting any sort of, like... There's no kind of fear or confusion. There's no kind of, like a visceral reaction of, I wouldn't want this to happen to me, or this looks completely wrong. In a like physical sense, it just kind of looks a bit just doesn't quite look right, but not in any way that makes me feel anything. It's just like, yeah, that could have done with being somewhere else. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the the tail / dreadlock, just the one long dreadlock. I think actually the cape from the back... Oh, man. This is actually kind of tricky. The flesh cloak is cool. The flesh cloak is cool. I think something that would have worked a little bit better with that cloak is if it had been made to look a bit more like vestigial wings. Because I really like it from the front. Because from the front, my assumption was... It kind of looks like wings draped back and spread round. But from the back, it looks a little too much like a skirt for me. If there was a bit more detail, a few more veins and stuff going out from the different like sections supporting that cloak, I think I would like it a little bit more. I will say, like, one of my big things on models that have things like cloaks, for instance, even if it is a flesh cloak, is like different textures. I like different textures on models where you can get different effects, and I do like the fact that you've got like these gribbly sections, and with these kind of smooth but almost cloth-like sections in between. I do like that a lot. But again, it's just the placement of it that doesn't quite feel right. Same thing with what's going on up top. It's the same thing with what's going on up top. It feels like the join isn't quite as seamless as it could be at the top of the model, and it feels like the join is a bit too seamless at the bottom of the model. As though actually that would work better if there was still remains of something that looked like arms supporting this cloak, coming down off the back, wrapping around the bottom of it. It almost looks like the webbing off an octopus, but nothing else on the model suggests anything like that, which makes it weird. I don't know. This is a tricky one. This is a difficult one. So, I mean, admittedly, I think it's fair to say that it looks better than the better than the current one. Oh dear. Oh, now you see that next to something new. It's not a bad model, the old one. It's not a bad one, but it definitely is showing its age at this point. So yeah, I reckon the movement of that tail to up and behind the head, that's a weird decision. I'm not sure why they did that. They could have kept the tail and had the cloak. They could have kept the tail and had the cloak. They could have had the cloak be a set of vestigial wings that don't have the power to fly anymore. They could have had the tail be at the base between the two wings, which are draped down. They could have, you know, they can still have those claws at the top. That wouldn't have been messed up by not having the tail sticking out of the back of his not skull, because it's actually a bit of extra body. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose actually, from the front, no issue. This is the weird thing, right? From the front, absolutely fantastic. And also from the front, it feels like the cloak could be like a gliding thing, like a kind of spread out to do short bursts of not flight, but, you know, like kind of gliding through the air. It looks like it would work from the front, and from the front, that tail could be coming from anywhere, but then from the back, it's not coming from anywhere. It's coming from a place that doesn't make a huge amount of sense, when it could just come from where the cloak is. And for some reason, the support structures on the cloak don't look sufficient from the back, but they do look fine from the front. It's a weird one. That's a weird one. I do like it. I do like it a lot. But I think this is one of those ones where I just prefer certain angles. The side view is fantastic. The front is great. The back I could take or leave. I think from the front though, that is an incredible model. That looks great. That looks so good. And I think that's probably my issue with it. It's like it makes sense from the front and it makes less sense from the back. Which I don't know. Overall I really, really like that. I really like that. It definitely seems like quite the glow up, doesn't it? Like if we look at these two, you know, you could probably take or leave the cloak. I'm sure there will be plenty of people who are not all that keen on the cloak, which is absolutely fine. I get it. But the biggest thing for me looking at old models and new models is just the level of detail. It's just how crisp everything is. And that's a definite, like, yeah, it just looks so much more detailed. That's not a bad glow up, to be fair. And the thing is as well, right, if you're not a fan of the cloak, looking at this, it's always a little bit hard to tell without having the kit in front of you. But depending on how this thing's put together, I reckon my gut feeling, right, is that you could probably get rid of the cloak. That's my gut feeling, right? That you could probably snip that cloak away. You could probably cut it away and it wouldn't make too much of a difference. I mean, if we look where it's attached to, I think it is kind of attached to the legs a little bit, but the detail doesn't, I don't think you're going to lose any detail by cutting it away from the legs. You could also cut it down the length of the tail. Because if you look at the back of it, right, that tail is going down and then round towards the front. With a bit of careful cutting, a bit of careful filing, you could totally cut the cloak away from the tail, keep the tail in the old position, and then snip off the weird dreadlock tail and just green stuff that over. Like, if you wanted to make this more like the old Deathleaper, you totally could. You totally could. And I don't think it would be that difficult to do. And in fact, I should put my money where my mouth is and and say that if we get hold of one of these when it's released, I will try and do exactly that. and I'll show you whether it's easy or not, and then you can decide whether to try it yourselves or not. Although that way I might end up with 2, because I actually just really like it from the front. That's great. It's so good from the front. Looks great from the front. That sounds like some sort of dodgy statement, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. And I'm kind of impressed that we ended up saying that whilst we were just chatting nonsense. Yeah, no, you know what? I like it. I like it. The mouth is a big upgrade. This is just getting like weirdly innuendo-y now, but the mouth is a definite upgrade over the other one. The other one had like a kind of classic Cthulhu-esque monster feel, admittedly, but this one looks actually dangerous. So, yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board for that. That looked decent. That looked decent. And you know what? I will probably end up cutting that down and putting it up as a quick cheeky video, a quick cheeky Monday video. Oh, gang, we get a stream in and a cheeky video. Yeah, if you want to make making the cloak more fleshy, add like veins and stuff with green stuff, that's a good idea. Thank you very much for watching, Brandon. It's true, Stanky. Warhammer does not have enough cloaks. Oh. I don't know why I stopped saying that. Sean Con Zombie. I don't know. I just stopped. Just one of them things. Oh, I don't know if it'll have multiple heads. It'd be... It'd be nice. Be a nice bonus. Okay, where's what's his name's data sheet? Where's that gone? Oh, is it in the wait. I thought it was under the what this was like. Okay, this threw me. This threw me because I was like, oh yeah, we'll do the Monday Ramble. We'll take a look at what's in store for the rest of the week. What was in store for the rest of the week? Well, it was this. Things to do while waiting for Warhammer 40,000 Leviathan. Nothing. It was just nothing. Also, our focus is all on ensuring Warhammer 40,000 Leviathan is delivered to everyone who pre-orders one. Yeah, but this would normally be the pre-orders. Having things pre-ordered like now. Having pre-orders next Saturday, that's not going to change delivery for... I was confused. I'm not going to lie, I was confused. Oh, on the week in Warhammer. Warhammer Plus. Black Talon Episode 6. Battle Report. Another White Dwarf. Okay. Oh, not allowing me to maximise it, are we? Okay, cool. Look at that. Look. Can you see that? I'm just being denied. I'm hoping to play Shatterpoint. Maybe this week. Hopefully. Really hoping I get to play Shatterpoint this week. I'm looking forward to it. The fact that I cannot expand the video is really bugging me. Alright, let's do a bit of... Oh, did I miss it? No, I didn't. I always feel like doing the 2-week thing for the big boxes, should only be necessary if they're doing it like 2 weeks in a row, but I know that's not how that works. I just want to see cool stuff, you know? And then we don't see stuff. It's like, oh, I've got to wait. Oh, that looked interesting. Oh yeah, pitched battles. Okay. Yep. General's Handbook, having that on the front of it makes it seem like it's going to be caster heavy. Be interesting if it is. I mean, we had... Oh, did I just miss him? Of course I did. Before that, oh my god. How far away did I miss it by? Oh yeah, I mean, the eBay scalpers don't care for logic. Okay, it's got to be around here, right? Okay, there we go. Oh, it's so much harder when I can't maximise. Hang on. What happened? I've been trying to get it to maximise the whole time and it didn't do it. I tried to zoom into the page and it did it. What? Chrome, are you off your face? Right. Okay. Movement 5, toughness 5, save 2+. Fine. 6. 5 wounds. Okay, alright. So he's got the Gauntlet of Fire. Ignores cover, torrent, 12-inch range, D6 attacks. Strength 5, damage 1. Oh, he looks a bit... I mean, my immediate... He looks a bit plain, doesn't he? Just a bit... He just looks a bit plain. A bit uninspiring. Not... It's not like... I feel like the weapons aren't terrible. But this is... It's almost like the Stormlord. Why has he got, like, 2 abilities? Grand Strategist. Okay, great. And then Lord of the Storm. Once per battle at the end of your command phase, Small can use this ability. If it does, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 12 inches. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, that enemy suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. And a 4 plus... It's just a bit boring, isn't it? It's just a bit dull. Like, for who he is, that's really quite boring. That's just sort of... I wouldn't even argue that it's like... I don't think it's like outright terrible. It's just... This feels like one of those ones where there's not really a huge reason to take him. To be honest. Like, what? And like, where... Given who he is, why isn't he buffing someone or something? Like, why... there we go. Josh. Yeah, right. See? We're right there, aren't we? Doesn't even buff units he's attached to. He just doesn't really do anything. He's just there. Which is not... which is not great for what that character should be. Oh, now I can't... Okay, alright, sure, fine. You know what? We could actually... What was the other thing? There was a thing. I saw a thing... Okay. We've got a gameplay trailer for Realms of Ruin, right? Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, there we go. We got it. I mean, it admittedly looks fine. Although it's weird seeing Stormcast, like... just be normal. It's so weird seeing Stormcast just be normal. What I'm going to know is, when are we going to get a Dragon Age style game set in fantasy or Age of Sigmar? When are we going to get that? When are we going to get that? That's what I want to see. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I don't think we're ever going to see that as a thing, but it would be awesome if we did. This looks... Oh, I mean, it looks okay. Kind of surprised that we never saw a Total War Age of Sigmar, to be honest. That's kind of surprising to me, but yeah, that looks alright. I'm assuming more factions later on. I would hope, anyway. I would hope that. I don't really... I will say I'm not sure on using the old Stormcast designs. That's a weird choice. Because some of those are just like... Some of those are just fully fact, most of them are just the old Stormcast designs. Which, famously, not the ones included in the box against that particular style of orc. So that was an interesting choice. An interesting choice there. Oh, what were you trying to link, Hokum? Good morning, Drowning. It's one of the things that really gets me with a lot of the Games Workshop, like, just the computer games that they do, is they'll just be like baffling choices, like signing up, doing the licensing deal with for Total War, and then fantasy is no longer a thing. And then, you know, Total War Warhammer, massively popular, everyone loves it. Oh, where do I find fantasy? Well, there's Age of Sigmar, which isn't the same. And the factions that you probably loved playing don't exist. So sorry about that. Like, or at least like, oh, what's happened to the Empire? Well, that's tricky. That's a tricky one. Technically, a lot of the models do still exist, but they're all sort of mashed together with a bunch of other models as well. But it's fine. Don't worry. Same with like Realm of Ruin. Why use the old Stormcast designs against the newer orcs when I don't know. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Lewis. Hokum, I'm afraid I think we stopped talking about the Deathleaper like a few minutes ago. Like maybe 5-10 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Don't worry though, I'm going to cut it out and it's going to go up on the channel as a separate video. It's not going to be... I'm going to leave... So what I'm planning to do, right, is just leave the stream. The stream will just be accessible for everyone. I'm not going to lock it behind anything. But what I will do is cut out the Deathleaper section and upload that as its own video. That way, if people want to watch the whole stream, they can watch the whole stream. That's absolutely fine. That's great if they want to do that. But if really of all of it you're mostly interested in seeing the Deathleaper, then you'll have that separately. We don't talk about Karl Franz and his lads. Yeah, no, we're not allowed to. We've got to pretend like he doesn't exist. We've got to pretend. Oh, they had the new Stormcast in a previous teaser. Okay. That makes more sense. Now, see, the thing is, I really like Age of Sigmar, so I'm not like... I'm looking forward to fantasy. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, but I like AOS anyway. It's a good... It's, at this point, genuinely a good game. Genuinely a good system. Super interesting model range. Loads of interesting stuff in there. Some really, like, unique stuff as well. Yeah, I really like AOS, so... I mean... AOS army... over there, that top shelf, that's mostly AOS army, which reminds me I need to finish painting. I've got like 2 models to paint, and then I'll have a 3rd AOS army finished, which is ridiculous. The other one one of the things I've got to paint, right, is, where is it? There he is. Oh, this is going to be a manoeuvre. Ugh. I've got a Mega Gargant I need to paint, and by Mega Gargant I mean an Imperial Knight. Look, it's not the same. It's a Mega Gargant. Look, it's clearly a Mega Gargant. It's powered by Warpstone, and whatever it is that the dwarves, the Sky Dwarves, mine. It's got 2 melee weapons, no guns. Clearly, Mega Gargant. I think it's actually bigger than a Mega Gargant. I went through so much effort on this, right, and no one's going to care but me. This is one of my normal Gargants, right? Just a normal Gargant lad, just a normal fella. And he's built from an Ambot. And from the realm of metal, so it's totally legit. Now, Ambots have got 2 toes. They've got 2 toes on the feet, right? But knights have got 4. They got in a cross shape. But these, the 2 toes, are at an angle on the front, and then there's like one or 2 at the back. In an effort to make the front match up, I ended up cutting the feet apart specifically so I could repose them to match the ones on the Ambots. Is anyone going to notice that unless I point it out? Absolutely not. No. No one's going to notice that. But I did it anyway, because if you're going to do these things, you got to do them properly. So, yeah. Normal Gargant, Mega Gargant. Admittedly, the normal Gargant needs to be on a different base. And it needs to be built up just a little bit more so it's the right height. But it's fine. We'll get there in the end. It's going to take a while to rebase them all. And they are technically not quite tall enough, but I'm going to use rebasing as an excuse to build up the bases even more. I just get the cork tiles from Amazon. You can find them on Amazon really easily. Ribo, I'm not gonna show the Eldritch Horrors off today, but that's only because I'm actually making a video with them to properly show them off from like every angle and stuff. So that's gonna be its own, probably quite long thing. I'm debating whether to include a list of where all the parts came from, but that might make it tedious. Oh, it is getting to be unbearably hot in here. Absolutely atrocious. There. That's the thing, Dan Brooks. You've got to, like, if you know that you're going to notice, if you're going to sit there and go, actually, I think that needs to match. You're going to have to. You got to do it. You've got to do it. You need to be happy with what you're making. There's a local store near me that has Leviathan pre-ordered with no limit per customer. I suppose technically, unless Games Workshop specifically put it in contract or whatever with local stores, I don't know that they had to abide by that rule. I don't know. There's got to be another Warhammer quest soon. There's got to be. I mean, they messed up Cursed City so badly. Surely they're going to do something else with that name after what they did with Cursed City. This is the latest horror, by the way. It's it's getting there. The Death Chicken. Six wings, 2 weird, like, I don't know what those are. Braziers? Is that the word? It needs arms, but I don't know what arms to give it. I don't know what arms to give this. I mean, it already looks mental, which is what I want, but it needs some sort of arms. I'm thinking probably like tentacles or something. What do you reckon? Would tentacles work? Just a big mass of tentacles coming out of the arm sockets. It's going to be like seated. It's going to be like climbing up some sort of like short tower so that it's the right height for a Mega Gargant. I don't need more Mega Gargants. I've already got 4. Technically 5. But I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to make, like, this one has to be a Mega Gargant. Vaguely humanoid arms. Ooh, that's a good call. I might have some Demon Prince arms, you know. I think I might have some Demon Prince arms. If I had Demon Prince arms, that would work super well. I could go full like FromSoft, and I know I've got a Demon Prince arm holding a sword. This thing with an arm with a sword in it. Go full FromSoft with it. Why does that animal have a sword? We don't know, but it just does. Bloody Elden Beast style. I did try Tyranid Warrior arms, but I didn't. It wasn't weird enough. It just wasn't weird enough. And that's like a prerequisite. When it comes to making the Cosmic Horror Mega Gargants, the main thing we're looking for is weird and incomprehensible. I want it to be like, you look at it and go, what is that? What is happening? Why have you done that? And if that's the response I get, then that's grand, because I've done what I wanted to do. If I don't get that response, it means it's not a good Cosmic Horror Mega Gargant. So yeah, I mean, I've got a Demon Prince arm. Maybe if I might dig around and see if I can find another. I'm looking at my bits boxes, and I'm trying to work out if I've got a box that would have like a bunch of like normal like fantasy arms in. One massive like roided out arm on one side, and then a bunch of little arms on the other side. That's got to be that. Oh, that's got to be it. That's got to be the way, right? See, I would print something Barakai, but at some point this year, the whole Cosmic Horror Mega Gargant army is going to Warhammer World, and I want it to be. I've already had like the occasional comment where it's just like, oh wow, how much of that did you 3D print? And I want it all to be just GW stuff. It's all GW stuff. So yeah, I want it to be 100% GW. Like everything, apart from some chain, which Games Workshop don't sell modelling chain, so they can't come at me for that. Everything on those Mega Gargants is all GW. Absolutely everything. Everything on there. Most of the scenery on the bases is GW scenery. The stuff that isn't is like polystyrene blocks that I've cut out. And yeah, like the basing material. But then it's just tufts, so that doesn't need to be GW anyway, but everything else is 100% from them. Oh, see, I don't have any spare Haruspex mouth tentacles because I put them on my Haruspex. So, in fact, you know what? Where's the Haruspex? Oh, it's so dusty. It's so bad. Yeah, I got the Haruspex on a whim, and I made it even creepier. Oh, it's covered in cobwebs. That's bad. Bit of dusting live on stream. I've got a specific brush that I use to dust models that have been forgotten. It's the ones that go on the windowsill. Those are the ones that have had like a hard life, because they're the ones that I've got part way through and then I've just put down and then never thought of again. I had a short-lived idea for a Tyranid army that was just all gribbly monsters, but in the style of Annihilation, like the bear from Annihilation, so like all plants growing out of them and faces sticking out of them and extra eyes and skeletons and stuff. But I couldn't find a viable way to do it. Although actually now in 10th, to be fair, now in 10th, just an all horrible monster army is totally doable. So it might end up being a thing now. Might end up being a thing. Because I can get away with it now. It will be a legit army. So, but yeah, it's got like plant life growing out of him. Got like a horrible corpse that's sprouting flowers and leaves coming out of his back. There's a bunch of faces sticking out of his main tentacle. Get extra claws growing out of him. Yeah, that could actually be doable now. Could actually be doable. With 10th just being like, pick 3 of anything, and then pick another 3 of anything. Like, that's... Interesting. At some point, those are going to be replaced with an actual display cabinet, like a really big one. But for now, to be honest, I get stuff off them so often it just bug me having to open the cupboards all the time. Hello, Fraser. Oh wow. Okay, my vague hope for painting. It's not going to happen, gang. I'm telling you right now. I am actually sweating at this point. It is not nice in here. If I put paint on this palette, it is going to evaporate instantly. But you know what? It's fine because we did our Monday Ramble. We tried the Monday Ramble format live, and if anything, it works too well because I was planning for this to be an hour-long stream, and it had been going for 2 hours. So it clearly works okay. So what I'm gonna size of a Nightcast Iron counts as a home again. Squad of 20 of them. I mean that would be funny. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start the stream. I'm going to cut out the bit where we talked about the new Deathleaper. That'll go up as its own separate video, and yeah, we will do that. And then I'm planning on streaming on Thursday, provided I don't have any stupid issues like I did last Thursday. Although I seem to have fixed those now. Like, this all seems to have worked this time around, so it looks like we should be okay, hopefully. Provided nothing else dies on my PC, which, I mean, it's technology, isn't it? It hates us and it wants us to fail. So, yeah, what I will do is go and get that sorted. There will be a new video on Wednesday, but if you are a YouTube member or you support me on Patreon, you'll be able to see that video early on Tuesday. It should be up by 5 o'clock on Tuesday evening, so you'll get it 24 hours early, because that's the way we do stuff now. That is how we do things, and we're going to stick to it. So if that sounds appealing, there are other benefits as well. There's the private Discord server, which is only open to YouTube members and patrons. So again, if you like the idea of that, then go and take a look. It's no pressure. It's totally up to you. Be nice if you did, but look, you got to feed yourself first, right? Thank you everyone for watching. It's been fun hanging out. I do like doing the Monday Ramble this way. This has been a lot of fun, so we will stick with it. I will see you for the next one, and don't get too dehydrated. Right, it's warm. Drink some water, or if it's cold where you are, drink some tea. Either way, just drink. It's important.